Hi guys, I'm Elisa and welcome to episode 15 on this playthrough the island. We started off making up this shotgun blueprint that we got last episode. That is a very nice little blueprint indeed. Then we went out and leveled our Daedon. We're kind of getting to the pointy end of the stick now. We're really getting ourselves sorted towards doing the bosses. And it really is mostly just about collecting those last few resources to make sure all our gear is up to scratch and getting those last few lines red on our races. I also put a lot of levels onto this Daedon. We went around and killed absolutely everything we could find. But the otter also had to have a say, and it got a couple of kills into. Most of the levels on the Daedon went into its food to try and help it on its way a little bit, help with its healing abilities for those boss fights. So that if we got into any particularly sticky situations, we could get out of it fairly easily. It also meant that I could go a lot further from home than I normally would have and find absolutely everything to work. And it worked really well. After I was done leveling the Daedon, I took the Dodicarus out once again to get more stone because we needed more cementing paste to make more polymer, because the equipment I've got takes a lot of polymer to repair. I spent a lot of time doing what you're seeing here, time and time and time again, just hunting for those mutations on those babies. We got a few. We actually got quite a few mutation lines. It was fantastic. But the Carcha also got quite a few levels. And again, for that sweet, sweet polymer, we needed obsidian. So the Aki came with us to Obsidian Mountain. once we had all the resources we needed, I also made another cryo fridge and a whole lot more cryo. I wanted to make sure that I had enough to take everyone to the boss fight, but I also kind of needed to clean up the base a little bit. My frames were suffering with everything going on in base. Then it was time to go drop hunting for that Rex saddle that we still haven't found. So I started in the caves. Up the south cave I went to and had absolutely nothing in it. No drops, nothing. So next we went to Lava Cave. And that was the only drop that Lava Cave had in it, so I made sure to get any drops along the way to the next cave, which just so happened to be Swamp. Barry and I went through and cleared absolutely everything out of Swamp Cave so we could do runs back and forth between the different drop locations, which was super helpful because the things in here are insane. I kind of didn't think about it and didn't check the durability of my mask before coming in here. I just had it stored on the RG, so it was super handy. And it broke right as I was getting the first drop in here. So I kind of don't doubt there was more drops in here. This is the one cave which has been reliable for them. But I had to get out of here after my experience a few weeks back. There was no way I was sticking around to that fate again. So we made it out of Swamp Cave and headed across to the cave down by the volcano. And this had a drop in it too. But still, no Rex saddle. Then it was the same story in Kano Island Cave. Then it was time for me to mix the lines to get the melee line and the health line together. The very first egg I got out of the two had twin females, so they will definitely help towards the breeding pool. So we got them raising up and we got them imprinting and carried on our way. I then wanted to check out the underwater caves. Here was easy underwater cave, and then I went to hard underwater cave. But still, it's got good stuff in it. I'm not going to complain, but there is still no Rex saddle. Then as I was drop hunting, this beautiful young lady was just wandering around, and I really wanted her on our side. A mate pair of Carchas? What could be better? I should have known by her instant aggro how this was gonna go. She made it pretty clear she didn't want to be my friend, but I had to give it a go at least. So I'd actually run back to base after that first spotting her and got what few not mutated Rex babies I had left. I didn't want to waste the time I'd put into the mutations on feeding it to a Carcha. So I got towards trying to get down to her to feed her these Rex babies. first Rex baby went fantastically. Just ask my otter. And with that, I had to go back home and get more Rex babies. So helpful. I was at the point where I was having to sacrifice babies that I had saved because they looked cool, but they didn't have the mutation that was going into the boss lines, which was a little bit disappointing, but at the same time, it is what it is. It's just colourful. So I was sure that that was the animation that I was looking for. That was the feed me animation, for lack of a better word. I didn't realise that she was glitched and not able to get to the baby. Yeah. Kind of shows how the rest of this afternoon is going to go. And this Carcha would not stay still. Once she got out of her little spot where she couldn't move, she was running everywhere trying to eat everything, which I understand. But it made trying to get the baby Rexes to her near impossible. So I thought I would try and make a trap. But when she's running around quite that bad, that was easier said than done. Pinky took a lot of hits in the attempt to tame this beautiful lady. I didn't realise to start with that she actually wasn't in the trap. And I was very confused. But also the uneven ground there meant that she could just walk right over top of it. The trap was useless. So I was going to have to try and do this with everything else around without the trap. With my last viable Rex baby that I actually had, this was kind of make or break when it came to having a decent carcass to feed the Carcha and get her taming. It wasn't until this experience that I actually realised how badly Carcha taming could go. The first experience was actually relatively easy. It was in such a good place that nerves never really moved around very much, but this lady was everywhere. I also realised that when doing this, you have to make sure, even if they're doing that sniff, that they can get to the carcass, because they don't seem to do the sniff again with the same carcass. I don't understand why, But you can bring the carcass up to them and they will eat it, but it does absolutely nothing for that trust bar. With Daedons all around, I really wanted to get this Rex to this Carcha. It just was not going my way today. She did eventually see/smell me, but unfortunately so did the Carno. It ate the carcass rather than her, and then I looked like a very tasty little morsel. I was hoping that I was going to be able to kind of cheese that and drag the body right as she ate it, but it didn't work. I just made myself into target number 1. Thankfully, I've got my nice little shotgun here that we crafted at the start, but I can't use it on her because I really wanted to join the team, so I can only use it on the other predators in the area. And I was getting a little bit desperate, so it was time to try taming with wilds. But the Zenki didn't feel like being Carcha food, so I had to find something else. The Sabertooth actually did rather nicely. It's not as good as a Rex baby, but it was better than I anticipated. This little interaction also was unexpected and kind of terrifying. They run at you. After you feed them, if the trust meter isn't full, you better get the heck out of there. So the next far too long of my life was spent killing things, feeding the Carcha, and running as far away as I possibly could. That trust meter also drops really fast. If it's not on full, you better be quick. This Carno body actually did a lot. If I was able to get another Carno close to her, we would have been absolutely sorted. But I had problems because she'd cleared out the area and I'd cleared out the area, so I was having to go further and further afield to find prey. And that trust meter was just going down too fast. Here I had another Carno body, but as soon as the RG tried to harvest it, I got stuck in the body. and I became prey again. The body was no longer going to add to that trust meter. All it was doing was making me smell really good. The Carcha had also been going around fighting absolutely everything. Like, that dead Yeti was from the Carcha. It meant every single time it took damage, the trust meter went down. We just weren't getting anywhere. And as I was flung out to sea, I kind of decided I'd had enough. But I still had to get back to Pinky. I still had to make sure that I was able to get home safely. So, with some not so careful thought, I decided to throw caution to the wind and just try to run it back, even past the Yutis that I knew were there, the Carnos that I knew were there, the Daedons and everything else in between. We're back to running through the snow for our lives. With the number of jumps I missed, I was just really lucky that there wasn't really any megalodons around. Because although the water was kind of safer than the shore, it still definitely wasn't going to be as safe as if I was back with Pinky in the air. I had finally got to the point where I was out of the water and I could start to make my way up the glacier face, which was a lot easier said than done. A lot more than I anticipated. You don't realise while flying over in an RG how deep some of these pits are. But I had to formulate a plan and I had to get Pinky back. I couldn't let her stay out here all on her own. I was also very aware that the closer I got, the more likely I was to have the Carcha come back into render as well, which could be a very serious problem. And I was hoping and absolutely praying that the Carcha didn't go back into render and didn't kill Pinky on my way to her. But finally I was back somewhere that I recognised, all the dead carcasses from the Carcha, and there was Pinky. She was safe and sound, and the Carcha was nowhere in sight. Thank goodness. So we went on our way back to base to continue the boss fights. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you that does. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this. I hope you have a wonderful day.